എവിടെയാണ് നമ്മൾ? Allotment. Hey, it's a nice day. Allotment. Well is on and we are at the allotment. Hello everybody, welcome to the allotment. It's the month of October and it's been raining for the past couple of days, but today, for a change, we've got some nice weather. The forecast says it is sunny with intervals of cloud or clouds with intervals of sun. Right now the sky looks very dark, but there's some hope at the horizon with some bright skies. She's enjoying her umbrella even though it hasn't rained. So the allotment looks busy. All the plants, including the weeds, are busy in the stage of producing seeds for the next season. That's the potato bed. We've cleared out all the weeds and stones, and this is the parsnip bed. We've managed to clear a lot of the weeds. There are some parsnips which are quite strong, and there's a strip of coriander as well. This is the Brussels sprouts and kale bed, and it needs a massive clear out. And the beauty of the month, cosmos, such a nice open flower welcoming all the bugs and beetles and bees. The leaves are also attractive. It looks like fern. Even to feel, they are like ferns. These are the flowers of rocket. Now this bed had a couple of tomato plants. I've cleared that out. There's a courgette there and some Swiss chard. So a lot of clearing has happened over here. I've left one tomato plant there, just hoping the weather might improve, but I'll remove it soon. Now there's a big change here. These two beds have had tomatoes in them. They had blight, so I removed all of it, cleared it really well, and that's the purple sprouting broccoli. They are very strong. All the work of protecting them have paid off. Here we had a courgette plant and a couple of tomatoes. So the plants which have tomatoes in them and hasn't had any sign of blight has been left behind. The amaranth leaves are also in the seed growing stage. The spinach bed is quite weedy, needs a bit of work on it, and this is the turnip bed that we have done a lot of work on them. The white turnips have been a big failure this year. I hadn't had any harvest from them, and after clearing the weeds, what I've noticed is that whatever big ones like that, they are very tiny, and some of them are really tiny that I cannot harvest them. The rest of the allotment, the beans have fallen. This courgette plant is finished. It has to be removed and cleared. French beans have finished, peas have finished. We had some rogue potato plants here. I've dug it up, managed to get some big potatoes from it, but unfortunately they were all eaten by slugs and some other bugs. I got very few potatoes from these rogue plants. More cosmos, and there's a runner beans over there which is also fallen in the wind. The sweet corn bed is also needing a lot of clearing out. Last bit of runner beans. These are the last runner beans that I'll get this season. I can't see any butternut squash unless the leaf starts to fade off. I won't be able to spot the butternut squash. These are all the tentacles of the butternut squash. The tiny toms did really well this year. I got plenty of tiny toms. I haven't weighed them, so I can't exactly tell how many kilos I got, but I've got plenty this year. And they're still going. They haven't had any signs of blight. French beans are finished. This pathway is completely covered with cosmos. So once the cosmos finishes, it will be cleared. Major job for today is to plant these seedlings. So we have some kohlrabi here. The seedlings look really strong, but I suspect I'm a bit behind, almost a month behind in planting them. So that is the 2 lines of kohlrabi, and we've got some January King cabbage, then some komatsuna red, some calabres, not a lot of them sprouted, the calabres, and then some all year round cauliflowers. Tomato la.
Potato.
Oh, very good. Potato. I have some celery left from what I planted a couple of months earlier. So these have rooted out really badly. They're very late now. But I didn't have space to plant them. These are some pakchoi and some rosa lettuce, some parsley and basil, and that is Durham early cabbage. The parsley and basil is not for the allotment. The rest I will squeeze in today wherever I get space. So first I will be planting the all year round cauliflower. They need around 40 to 45 centimeter spacing between them. So I'll plant them in. As I mentioned earlier, it's a bit too late, and I have honestly not grown any vegetables outside during winter. So this year it is a learning curve for me, or an experiment to see if I can get something out. I did sow the seeds in time, but I didn't have any space in the allotment to plant them. So I left them at home in their individual modules. Planting any vegetables now, all of them need winter protection. So the all year round cauliflowers, the broccolis, everything will need winter protection. I've got hoops ready to hold plastic sheets or mesh, or so these are the all year round cauliflowers. Around 6 of them have been planted in a grid. Next I'll be doing broccoli. Broccolis also need similar spacing like cauliflowers. All calabres family and brassica family need quite a lot of space, because when they grow up tall into their full size, they will be really big. And also all the plants in the cauliflower, cabbage, broccoli family must be planted deep to up to the first leaf so that they can stand properly. Additionally, I use a technique of mounting the soil onto the stems as they grow tall to help them stand upright. There's a weak seedling in that set, so I threw that and I took the better one. Always use the better seedlings, and if both are good and you can separate, then separate them and plant. Don't plant cabbages, cauliflowers and broccolis very close together. So there's the cauliflowers, all year round cauliflowers, all planted up. So they have around 45 centimeters gap between each of them, around 40 centimeters. And that's the broccoli. I think there are 4 plants. Yeah, there are 4 plants. That one is really tiny. I don't know whether that will survive. And then these are the kohlrabi. The 2 rows of kohlrabi. It's the first time I'm trying kohlrabi. I've never eaten it as well. Then I've got some January King 2 seedlings sprouted, just 2 of all the seeds I put. And these are komatsuna red. They are like spinach. So again, I have got some tiny seedlings. And this is Durham early, and then those are pakchoi. I had planted some pakchoi earlier in the season, but they didn't come up. those two are Lolorosas lettuce. So the pakchoi in the beginning of the season, they all bolted really quickly, so I'm going to try it again now because the heat is much less. What I'm going to do now is to reuse the potato sack compost by putting a thin layer of those compost on in between the seedlings. Ideally, you should do it before planting the seedlings, and the compost layer should be half an inch to 2 inch thickness to stop the weeds from appearing. But this will also improve the condition of the soil. The allotment soil is very clay here, so I have to gradually add the compost and hopefully improve it in the future. Once that's done, over time it will improve. Once that's done, the next bit for me is to add chicken manure pellets and some organic seaweed. These are the only fertilizers I use, a handful of that. Those two will be just sprinkled around each seedlings, and that's enough for one growing season of the plant, of the seedlings. You don't have to reapply them again. With the seaweed powder, we have to do it much closer to the ground because it's powder and it will get blown away from the wind or the breeze that we have. So all that's done. Only thing left now is to water them thoroughly. Unlike when you plant in summer, because this is autumn, and the forecast for tonight and for the next couple of days is rain, I will water it lightly just to support the seedlings initially, because there's rain coming in the night. So just a little bit of water and then it's all set to go. Fingers crossed. I hope there should be some success from it. I will definitely have some failures because I am quite late to plant these seedlings.
Mama.
But remember, gardening is a learning process. Each day when you are in your garden and doing some gardening, you will have something that you will learn. Even though I said I'm expecting failures from this set of crop, it's still, there will be something that I will get return from it, and that will teach me how to do it better for the next season. After this, I have also planted all the celeries in between the parsnip. The reason I have done it this way is because the parsnips have come up very sparsely and there are loads of empty spaces, and this bed will be used during the winter by the parsnip. So I've planted some celery in between in the gaps just to utilize the space of that bed much better during the winter. So there's the winter crops that I've planted so far, the parsnip bed and the calabrese bed. Next I'm going to tackle is the kale and Brussels sprout bed and deweed it, clear of all the debris. There are some spinach in them which were in seed stage. Everything has been cleared. Only 2 or 3 spinach plants have been left behind. The spinach bed has also been cleared really well. Harvested all the good leaves and cleared all the weeds. After a long day in the allotment, she's having her good nap. These are the harvest from today. 3 bunches of spinach, some potatoes and beans, and some last few tomatoes of the season. I hope you enjoyed this video of how we spend the day at the allotment. See you soon with another one.